Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Local Farmer's Diary. I am your local farmer, Johnny, and today we're going to be helping out a local farmer. Well, I say afternoon, but, well, it's almost afternoon. Close enough. Close enough, right? So, let me tell you what's going on here. The local farmer named Roger gave me a call probably about 3 hours ago or something. And he was telling me about he was going to go out and spray some of his fields yesterday with fertilizer, kind of give him a last application before harvest. And well, he told me that his pump on his sprayer appears to have sprung a drastic leak. Apparently some of the seals have gone out since the last time he used it. So he went down to the parts dealer this morning, talked to parts manager down there. I think it said his name was Manny. Manny was being, as Roger said, not very handy today. Said that seals were not in stock, and it was going to probably be till early next week till he could get those seals to then obviously get his pump fixed on the sprayer. So Roger knew that he didn't have until next week to get these fields fertilized. So he gave me a call up. We were fairly close, the closest farmer to his fields. I was hoping that we would have an opportunity to get out here this afternoon and spray those fields for him. Told him that he's more than happy to do it. Be the right neighborly thing to do, after all. And in the fact that we were caught up on everything we needed to do as far as field work was perfect. So Roger told me that he was going to leave a tanker up here at the intersection just past our cabbage field. It had fertilizer in it that he was going to use, obviously, in his sprayer. Since his sprayer is out of commission, he didn't have to use our fertilizer for this job. He was going to apply the fertilizer. All we needed to do was, well, just do the deed, if you will. Thing filled up. And the first field that we're going to spray is actually right here across the street. Cornfield. Get on in here a bit. Kind of a difficult spot to start in, I think, because of the proximity of the road. I called Raz up, and I think he's going to be ready to help us out with drone cam. Yeah, today's all about helping out the fellow farmer, because one day we might be in a similar situation where we need help ourselves, and we want to know that, you know, if we call on Roger, he'll remember us helping him out, and he might have an opportunity to help us out. Darren also told me that this would probably be one of those videos where we would be able to make use of the new satellite imagery map overlay. That he was probably going to put that down in the lower left corner, so you kind of see the imagery from a spy satellite. I call it basically from a satellite or Google Earth image, if you will. We have the fields identified and the roads laid out. This field here, it kind of butts right up against our property. That's one of our black bean fields right there. See, they're growing nicely. In fact, they look like they're starting to dry out. We're going to be ready to harvest pretty soon, I hope. We don't have a harvester ourselves. We're going to lean on good neighborly kindness. Maybe Roger will help us out with access to a harvester. Maybe Roger will help us harvest that field for us, or those fields. That would be great. I haven't approached him about it, but I just might bring it up when I call him up and tell him that the fields here have been fertilized. I'll say something like, "Hey, Roger, got those 3 fields you wanted fertilized, and was wondering if maybe you'd be willing to help us out. Probably about a week or so, we're going to be going to need to harvest some black beans. And as you know, I don't have a harvester. Kind of an interesting pinch to be put into, right? To plant a field of 2 fields of black beans and not have a way of getting them off the field. But or maybe you'd help me out for a percent." What he says. Hopefully by us helping him out here, he'll be amenable. That I can talk him into it. That's what I'm trying to say. Alright, I think that's going to do this field. Now Roger's second field is right over here on the other side of the river. Actually, like this field might be a little late on needing the fertilizer, but okay. Roger said he wanted to spray it, so it's his spray. This fertilizer, I'll just doing the job. Roger owns a few more fields down the road there, but he said that he didn't need those sprayed. Watch my boom. The last thing I need to do is bust up my sprayer spraying somebody else's fields. I think I've already mentioned it, but just in case you're new to the series, we've got cabbage, red and regular cabbage, green cabbage, I guess you want to call it, carrots, and onions planted for local farmers market and restaurant. We're going to contract out harvesting those with a local, maybe more, I should say more of a regional contractor who has the rather expensive specialty equipment that is needed to harvest those types of crops. And he works on a commission. So, a little steep commission, but you know what? Saves us having to spend a fortune on equipment, and that realistically we would never recoup our investment back, given the scale of our farming operations. So he asked for 20% of what we get out of the field, and it's steep, it's awful steep. But again, it saves me investing millions of dollars of equipment to harvest our small fields, and therefore it is well worth it. I'm hoping I can talk Roger into a measly 10%. Lean on our good graces, thus helping him out in a pinch. Maybe he can help us out in a pinch. You know, that's all I'm saying. I scratch your back, he scratches my back, right? I personally prefer to get my spraying done before the crops are too terrible big. Cornfield that we just did, that is kind of the point at which I feel crops are maybe getting a little bit too big to really benefit from fertilizer. Okay. Roger's spray. What he asks. Got maybe one more pass down the middle here. Then we'll fold this up. We'll go top off our sprayer and head over to the last field we need to take a look at today. It's folding in good. Folding in well. Excellent. Busy traffic today. Roger owns a few fields around the corner there too. I forget I've got the double wide tires there. We didn't damage the tank too terrible bad. Roger's third field that we're going to hit is actually right across from our onion field, as it would so happen to be. While we're over here, let's go ahead and just take a gander and just check out our cabbages. Coming in quite nice. Quite nice indeed. We have our onion field over here. This is the field we're going to be working on today. Spraying, and then we have our carrots. All looking really nice. Raznik and his fancy drone skills. Nice to fly that thing down low. I've told Roger before that if he ever looking to get rid of one of his fields, this field here, which we've conveniently identified as field number 42, this field here would be a field that I would have some interest in, given the fact that it's such close proximity to the farm, proximity to these other fields where we put our vegetables in. Rather convenient acquisition for us. Every time I mention this to Roger, he always just laughs. That laugh that you can tell is not a laugh from someone telling a joke. One of those laughs like, yeah, right. I don't think I'll get rid of that. We'll see. We'll butter him up. We'll do some more jobs for him. We'll butter him up. Before you know it, he'll feel guilty for not selling us this field years ago. Warmed up quite nicely outside. Never know it in here in the cab. Well, this tractor's air conditioning isn't the best. Definitely keeps the heat off, keeps the dust out, and well, when you're spraying like this, it keeps the chemicals off your skin, out of your lungs. You don't have to worry about breathing in atomized fertilizer or anything. Late summer here in Pennsylvania, it can get hot. It can get humid and it can get nasty. One of the best investments we did was swapping out Grandpa's old International tractors that were open cab out there in the elements, and getting cabbed New Hollands. Definitely a great investment. Dad tells me stories about how when he was growing up and farming those International tractors, he would have two-toned fingers, where the bottom side of his hand be significantly lighter than the top side of his hand. Basically, it was from him having his hands on the steering wheel all day long, out in the sun, having his fingers together. Basically, the top half, the half that was exposed to the sun, be real dark. And then you open up your fingers, lay your fingers open in the bottom half, the white, bright white, almost blindingly white. To this day, you can tell. So, guys, we'll show some kids about what getting too much sun can do to you. As if he's got a permanent baked-on tan. Well, that should just about do us. For this field, we probably have just one more pass down the middle here. I'm going to go pump the rest of this back in his tank and give him a call. Tell him that we're done spraying his fields. Come pick up his tanker. Don't want to let it sitting out there too terrible long. Some industrial farmer might decide to come and well, make his own acquisition, if you will, of fertilizer. So until next time, happy farming. Be sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell.